Good morning, everyone. I am the last reporter. My name is Hailene Polio, and today I'll be reporting about the women's involvement in the civil society and women and education. So, women's expression of involvement in civil society could be through organizing along gender-specific issues and formation of all women groups with broad coalitions as power-enhancing mechanisms. So, we have women groups such as the Filipino Feminist Movement, the Militant Gabriela Women's Group, the Ugnayan ng Kababaihan sa Politika, the Kilos Cabarro, and the Civil Legislative Network. So these women groups have trailblazed women advocacies both in policies and in legislations. There also exists a so-called Philippine NGO Beijing Scoreboard, which evolved from the National Steering Committee of NGOs for the United Nations Fourth World Conference on Women, and this led to international monitoring of the government's implementation of the Beijing Platform for Action. So along with other women groups and gender-oriented institutions, they have succeeded in raising gender-specific issues such as the domestic violence, sexual harassment and rape, prostitution, and reproductive health. So these gender-specific issues has been discussed already from the previous chapter, which is in lesson which is in lesson 2, under the women empowerment wherein feminism demands equality. So just review, the domestic violence such as the marital rape and physical abuse are often dismissed by society as part of marriage. So although we have the RA 1962 or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children, our culture dismisses such incidents as away mag-asawa. Next is the sexual harassment and rape. So the Center for Women's Resources is the Philippines estimate that one woman or child is raped every hour, mostly by someone they know. Next, the reproductive health. So this refers to a state of the complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity in all matters relating to the reproductive system and to its functions and processes at all stages of life. So this gives the women the reproductive rights wherein women is in control of her body, and she can decide for herself on what she sees is best for herself. So contraception, abortion, and other reproductive options should be available to women because it is their body. Lastly is the prostitution. So the commercial exchange of sex for money, goods, services, or some other benefits agreed upon by the transacting parties. So the prostitution has been condemned as a single form of human right abuse and can attack on the dignity and worth of the human beings. So by the intense lobbying efforts by the women's group, it resulted in the passage of several landmark laws. Among them is the Anti-Sexual Harassment Law in 1995 and the Anti-Rape Act in 1997. The gains of the women's movement are basically achieved through various partnerships in the rest of the civil society. Next is the women and education. The Philippine educational system is a combination of the public, private, and private institutions, with the state providing free education for elementary and secondary levels. The Constitution provides that without limiting the natural rights of parents to rear their children, elementary education is compulsory for all children of school age. So there is no generally discrimination of girls in education. Thus, there is no marked differences existing in the educational status of Filipino women and men. One glaring issue is the gender stereotyping of fields of study and specialization, and its onward translation into the world of work, where men generally occupy the highest occupational ranks and the highest paying positions, whereas women's larger responsibility for housework and for the family impeds their ability to use their educational training and skills for remunerative work. So this topic previously discussed are always timely, relevant, and part and parcel of the daily lives of the Filipinos. This only shows the degree of importance thus must be given to this topic. In Lesson 18, there are plenty laws on Filipino women. So from the fundamental law of the land up to the existing legislations. So it can be projected that more such legislations shall arise in the future. These laws are essential as they can be springboards of various national programs, women involvement, participation, and inclusion, all towards the highest goal of empowering women. That's the end of my report. Thank you guys for listening.